ready to go in the hills of Michigan. It's the rookies that wait for the green flag, and Joel Blewett gets us racing at Bark River International Raceway up through turn number 1 for the 2023 iRacing Off-Road Championship Series. It's a nice tidy start. Connor Barry is going to be battling with Keaton Swain, who gets in front and slams the door shut. Blewett clear though of Liebert, Dalomo and Rafos, the top 4.
Fox loses a bit of spots. Same thing with Alex Bergeron. They're 2 wide, 3 wide now. Further back in the field as Joel Blewett tries to pull away at the front. Exactly what he needs to do. Here's Keaton Swain, Jacob Rafos, Connor Barry. 3 wide as Barry looks to the inside. He's going to get by Rafos. Doesn't make it past Swain. They'll follow each other through. 4th and 5th now going through sector 3.
The Nitro Circus Sim Racing teammates, I think, going to have an understanding. Jacob Rafos not going to battle too hard with Connor Barry, knowing the championship is on the line here. Watch on that left side of the screen, the green highlight under 8th position. That is the invert for the second race. Quintin Dalomo currently sits in that hot seat. He would lead us to the green in his green virtual drivers by TX3 machine, but it still runs at the front pretty calm. Let's see how the invert top 8 goes as well. Crystal King currently sits in that inverted top 8 position after Quintin Dalomo has been cycled up to 5th. We take a look at the virtual drivers by TX3 machine now. There's the champ, Connor Barry. Not sure if there was contact again from the angle that we saw, but the way that Keaton Swain's car kind of responded, it looked like they had left each other plenty of room, but still somehow he got a bit more out of shape than Connor Barry, and maybe uncomfortably out of shape as well. Life points, by the way, continue to cycle inside of that top 12 for those, Josh, that want to hold on to their World Championship licenses.
That relegation is going to get very, very interesting with those drivers from 13th on back who are trying to stay in this series. Crystal King being one of them, who just barely missed out on relegation last season, trying to hold on to her pro license for 2024. And Killian Dalomo, Connor Barry, 2 drivers who don't really have to worry about relegation at this stage, but they've got to worry about a championship on the line. And Connor Barry looks to the inside of the Altus Esports truck, side by side for P3.
Killian Dalomo's had a great season, but is he going to be able to hold off the champ Connor Barry, who knows that those 2 extra points just could give him a little bit of an extra buffer? On board with the Nitro Circus Sim Racing driver, we will run calm as ever, but one thing that we know from Connor Barry, when there is a win, when there is some emotion, he can get excited, which is what we love to see.
But look at his face right now. He is calm. He's collected. He is focused. He knows what he has to do. He, of anybody in the iRacing service, and I go on record saying this, you can quote me, he might be one of the only drivers that I have seen that makes a virtual truck an extension of him. And I think that comes from the real life racing that he has done. No sense to me with him being our former champion and now in the lead of the points with all the real life racing he's done. He knows how to wield Pro 4 trucks, Pro 2 trucks, any kind of truck on the off-road in the real world. And he goes into the virtual world, uses all that same techniques, and ends up a champion.
And it is going to be potentially a important victory, but not the victory that gives him the points margin that he wanted. Up through turns 4 and 5 once again. A short 200 meter, 600 feet blast after that into the swooping turn number 6. And now, with Jarrett Liebert hot on the heels, the rookies have made a statement here.
A statement from both of them, I think. Jarrett Liebert capitalizing on the mistake that Keaton Swain made, move himself up into second place. Joel Blewett gets a ton of points back on the drivers in front. He won't make up a whole lot to Connor Barry, not going to make up a whole lot to Jarrett Liebert, but getting Keaton Swain out of the conversation was important for all 3 of these championship contenders.
Joel Blewett went even faster in qualifying here at Bark River, and he will grab his 2nd win of the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series. A great drive in that number 27 for Team Gold Esports on top once more. There's no emotion. There's still another race, a job still left to be done. Here's a look at Joel Blewett's margin of victory after the 11 laps. Not just the fastest lap, but 1 second clear of those behind. Liebert put it on the front row, able to hold on to second, and now has to try and work his way on forward. Conor Barry third, Killian Dalomo in front of Quintin Dalomo once again in that Altus Esports and Virtual Drivers by TX3 contingent. Jacob Rafoss, Nitro Circus Sim Racing have a second entry up inside of the top 6 with Tom Grady, Alex Bergeron, who will be at the very front of our second race, and then Josh Fox and Josh Edmondson, the rest of your top 10. Elbows out, ready to go though for the second race at Bark River. On the outside, it's Alex Bergeron that picks up the throttle and gets us racing in the rolling hills of Michigan. Up through turn number 1, and airborne they will all get safely through. Initially the field will scramble, there's some contact further behind, a couple of cars pirouetting, but safely through the opening corner. Now a full 180 degrees, a long sweeping left, but single file inside the top 10 with Bergeron leading them towards the jump.
We're already looking a lot different than we did at the start of race number 1, Arjuna. That was a lot more clean on the bottom of the racetrack, I want to say, purely because we only saw a handful of 2 wide through that entire first 2 corners. We saw a 3 wide in race number 1 and a few points. They all keep it cleanly at the front with Bergeron still leading, but Grady Rafoss on the back bumper. This is the battle around Josh Edmondson and Josh Fox, as that's where Jared Liebert ends up losing 2 spots off the start.
And he's going to have to try and fight his way back now, because 30 points, that's giving Conor Barry a margin with 2 weeks to go that you don't want to give him. He might even feel like second's going to be enough. 2 more points, the difference again between first and second spots on track. Josh Edmondson slides down to 13th. That was looking like an interesting scrap in the mid-pack, has ended poorly for him. Josh Fox up the inside of Jacob Rafoss as they head off towards the jump. For Cody Retzlaff, Crystal King. The 2 will come to blows. They'll both straighten each other effectively out, and in the fight for 12th position, just costing each other a bit of time. Back up at the front, Bergeron will get, I think, increasingly worried about the fact that Conor Barry's right there. Tom Grady's closing up as well. Last time was 0.2 quicker than the leader, within a second on track. And as Barry tries to slide to the inside with Track Evolution playing its part, they will make some contact. And Grady, Dalomo getting closer and closer as we dive into the whoop section.
A lot of passing in the mid-pack, and I think that's kind of a given when you have all these trucks running in such close quarters, and they've stayed close together throughout the entirety of race number 1 and 2, and kind of these mid-pack bubbles of trucks. But Conor Barry, fresh air at the front, he pulls away as Quintin Dalomo trying to find any possible way around Tom Grady for a podium, which I believe Arjuna would be his first podium of this season in 2023. No, actually, second in a row. Yeah, the time discrepancy a little bit weirder, not exactly as late in the evening for the Europe side of things for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship, but time changed nonetheless, as 1.2 seconds at the front for Barry. Quintin Dalomo is still trying to get by Tom Grady. No change in the mid-pack really at all. Blewett's able to get 5th. He passes Jacob Rafoss for that spot, but on this white flag lap, Arjuna, Liebert in 7th, Swain in 8th. They did not make up nearly enough points and didn't prevent Conor Barry from walking away with another checkered flag either, as he rounds the last few corners.
You will have to say, though, for Keaton Swain, 9 positions gained in this second race. That is the mark of a champion. Whether or not he gets the crown at the end of the season, Keaton Swain consistently proves to us why he is one of the best to do it and why he's always in the mix. Conor Barry, though, sails through the final corner. It's going to be race victory number 4 for Barry in his iRacing Off-Road Championship career, but it might be the one that takes him that one step closer to becoming a 2-time world champion. It's a pump of the fist. It's Barry on top in the rolling hills of Michigan. Conor Barry knows his crowd, knows the sponsors are watching, and makes sure that with the spotlight on him, he delivers a 4th victory, tying Keaton Swain and Cam Peterson, all now 4 victories apiece, the most winning drivers in series history. Alex Bergeron will add to the podium count. It's a 5th for him, while Tom Grady, it's only his 3rd top 10 if you include the one from earlier tonight. and it's his first ever podium. Congratulations, Tom. He'll be sinking that one in for a while. Quintin Del Olmo and then Joel Blewett through the rest of the top 5. But Jacob Foss, Jarrett Liebert, then Keaton Swain, who will take all the plaudits, I think, for the recovery, although he'll be ultra frustrated with having to make that drive back up through the field. It's Plumley and Fox that make up the rest of the top 10. There are moments that define championships. Last week, we witnessed such a moment in the rolling hills of Michigan. And as we land in Arizona, the question on everyone's mind, has Connor Barry taken one step closer to clinching a second championship? Welcome to the 2023 iRacing Off-Road Championship, live on RaceBot TV and the iRacing Esports Network. Hi folks, Arjuna Kangipati here, delighted to have your company once again. And while short course racing never lacks for drama, 7 days ago in Bark River, boy, did we see something. Keaton Swain's first non-top 10 finish in series history has seen him drop to almost 50 points back of Connor Barry. But the Arizona native knows that there is still plenty of time to potentially bring himself back into the equation. Connor Barry is not out of the woods yet. The home-time driver may be one to watch today as we get ready to go racing. And so with that, as the All-Stars once again get ready to get us underway, I'm delighted to welcome Joshua Lee as the second member of the broadcast team. But Josh, I feel like there's been a bit of a mistake. They somehow let you join the All-Stars.
I've got my Formula Rim. I am ready to go as a Formula Rim purist, but I'm not confident in my speed at all, but running about mid-pack, and I'm not going to be Zachary Drapkin or Luke Canup, just kind of freight training my way through the field, but I'm hoping I can at least walk away with the top 5. I've got Chris Leone in the field, so I think I'll at least beat one person, so I'll get one spot up on somebody.
I think we're going to be looking forward to getting some of your perspectives, especially driving with a Formula Rim, not necessarily what these trucks necessarily use. Let's go look at the schedule for these All-Stars. Let's not forget, we started with the Pro 2 lights, 400 horsepower, two-wheel drive, a little bit of a beginner entry into short course racing. And Josh, you joined them after they've made their excursion over to 900 horsepower, four-wheel drive machines.
Chose that one on purpose. I personally like the Pro 4 a lot better. It's got more horsepower, it's got more wheel spin, yes, but those Pro 2 lights, honestly, to me, a little bit more difficult to run, especially on these dirt tracks with less horsepower and two-wheel drive. We take a look at this Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park, Arjuna, and it looks simple. 4 corners, all of them pretty tight, but all of them completely different. Turn number 1, you take completely different than the hairpins of 2 and 3. You've got the very long turn 4, which is right after a whoop section as well. A lot of elevation change here, not quite as much as Wild West, but it's got its dips and whoops like any other good short course track does.
You also, from these track maps, don't really get that sense of elevation, and maybe we can ride on board with Josh later on and see what that lap is really like once the racing gets underway. They are out on track for qualifying right now. Josh is going to join them in doing so, going to leave me somewhat by myself, and well, we will disturb Josh in his qualifying lap, don't you worry. There's West the Mess currently in that 88 machine, third on the track as it stands. It's not a surprise. Zachary Drapkin and, well, still waiting for Luke Canup to set a time, but those are the two that we expect. Josh, as you get out onto track, you get ready to go, what are the things that you need to do to go fast in qualifying here?
Well, honestly, you just need not a whole lot of wheel spin. I think that's going to be the biggest thing that I have to watch out for, and that I think the other drivers really have to watch for, is just spinning those tires. Very easy to do with so much horsepower, and you think four-wheel drive, you'll be able to kind of control it a little bit better, but the amount of horsepower these things have, it just spins the wheels all up through the high gears. So you want to short shift, want to keep those low RPMs as much as you can.
And you're already hearing a little bit in Josh's mic of the force feedback. These trucks are physical, not just, of course, with the elevation and the way these corners are banked, but just in the nature of the landings. As you see West the Mess running himself in towards turn number 1. Again, like I said, third on track right now, 6.5 odd tenths off of Zachary Drapkin's benchmark. Of course, All-Stars are split into 2 categories. It's not fair to someone like Josh to compare him necessarily with Luke Knupp and Zachary Drapkin. So they're in the Pro Esports, and as Josh Lee gets his lap started in qualifying, you're an All-Star celebrity.
I love that I'm considered a celebrity, at least in the All-Stars, because, yeah, as you mentioned, I cannot keep up with the likes of Drapkin, the likes of Knupp at all, so I'm very happy to at least be running, at least not in their same class, but I did get a 0x on my first qualifying lap, so that one's not going to count, and now I'm going to dive into turn number 1 here to try and at least put something up, and that one actually did count as a 35.2. I thought I saw a 0x, but I'll take that lap time, not exactly the best, and I'll try and sling it into turn number 2 here to gain more speed. I'm trying not to use a whole lot of brake, Arjuna. You can kind of let as I completely make a mistake coming over the jump, just to show how the landings are very difficult. But you don't really need to hit the brakes in a lot of these corners. You can kind of just downshift, and naturally the engine braking is going to take the car or the truck kind of where you need to go. So try and not hit the brakes too much. That just kind of bleeds off momentum.
And we disturbed Josh enough on his qualifying attempts that I think you're going to start behind Chris Leone after all of the smack talk. P2 at the front, though not a surprise to see Zachary Drapkin and Luke Knupp split by 0.05 of a second. Remarkable, and this time we'll potentially see them battling. Last week it was all about Luke Knupp. The first time in 2023 that we've seen a driver take consecutive victories in an event, and well, I saw Mr. Aero HD slide his way up into 4th, and so changes on the qualifying order as they get ready to go for 10 minutes. Let's run you down through the starting grid for the first race here of our penultimate round of the season for these all-star drivers. Zachary Drapkin, Luke Knupp. Like I said, 500 splits the 2 of them, with Trevor Thiel in the Nitro Circus sim racing machine. Then inside of Keenan Kusin, those are 2 drivers fighting for the Celebrity All-Star Championship. Definitely going to be ones to watch. Blake Reynolds inside of Leo Mora in the Omega sim racing machine. That's 1 second almost through the top 6 cars. Wes Graham alongside with Chris Leone, iRacing's own. And then Josh Lee's race spot zone is back in 9th spot in his number 49 machine. He's got hashtag blame Josh on the side of it. We'll see if we can get the opportunity to do so. Brendan Lichtenberg not streaming, but is competing with us today. He's got Adam Briggs and then Zach Christie behind to complete the top 12, while Brian Sabelski and then Scott Kerr make up the rest of the top 14. Scott Kerr's got some work to do from the very back. We know just how quick he can be. And Josh, as you look forward and you look back, what do you think Scott's going to do from that 14th spot?
Scott Kerr starting at the back? Okay, so I'm expecting Scott to be in my mirror insanely quick. I mean, right now I've got Adam Briggs. See, I'm even scared of Adam. I know how much he's raced in league competition. I know he's got speed, but yes, I'm starting behind Chris Leone, not only by 1 spot, and it's because I messed up both my laps. I had to do the intro. I blame you, Arjuna. I had to do the intro.
Okay, I mean, to be fair, you're going to leave me somewhat alone for the next 10 minutes. I'm going to disturb you, don't you worry.
I would bet on it.
Pace car's going to pull off and away. Just a reminder as well, these drivers are racing at the Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park. You can do so in official iRacing competition. Head on to iRacing.com. Join us for the 15th anniversary. If you're around on the 26th of August, the 15th anniversary of iRacing servers going live, you will get anniversary credits courtesy of iRacing equal to the number of years that you've been part of the service. It's a little token of their appreciation for what's become a fantastic community. Josh gets ready to roll off. What are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling a bit of nerves seeing that Yes2 Motorsport beautiful paint over to my outside with Chris Leone there, but I mean, I'm just kind of trying to take this pace lap. I'm noticing the track, of course, having a reset after qualifying, so it's very, very fresh. Not going to see a whole lot of track wear, I don't think. I'm not going to worry about trying to find alternate lines to find moisture or anything like that. But I know the tires are going to start to wear, and a lot of speed's going to be kind of bleeding off at the end of the first and second laps, especially as we get into the middle of this run. But yeah, I just got to survive a handful of minutes. I think, what is it, 10?
I think 10 minutes, 18 laps.
All right, we'll see how I can survive for 10 minutes. I don't think we've ever done a timed race in off-road either, so it's going to be a new experience.
You did say top 5 expected today, so we're going to hold you to that. At the front, though, it is all going to be about Zachary Drapkin and Luke Canup. The two are the class of the field. The two could very well be in the World Championship, and they will battle at the Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park once again. Up in the air, in towards the opening corner. 10 minutes thrown on the clock, and Luke Canup immediately to the inside. He'll throw the slide job. He'll take away the race lead through the opening corner, but Drapkin around the outside fights back and uses the berm. Side by side now for third as Drapkin and Canup work their way over the jump out of turn 2. But insane stuff through the field. Keenan Kusin past Trevor Teal. Josh Lees past Chris Leone.
I saw an opening to the inside of one. I saw like multiple trucks spinning up on my outside, and I just took that spot. That's all I really needed to do. Am I in the top 5 yet?
Not, you're behind Blake Reynolds, so you're going to have to get past that 66 Nitro Circus sim racing machine. Good luck there. Top 3, Drapkin, Canup, and Kusin. So much on that opening lap, not just at the front, but from those behind as well. There's Josh in that yellow race bot machine heading up over the jump and almost getting himself tipped over there, Josh.
I got up on 2 wheels. Just call it a little bit of a bicycle. I'm trying to catch the drivers in front, but I always get kind of like an inflated sense of how close I am to the trucks in front, because it's almost like an accordion effect where you really get close through the hairpin corners, but then on the straightaways they just get the power down before you, so they pull right back away to where they were. So I need to just kind of run my own laps and not think I'm so close to the drivers in front that I can just make a move.
And so as Josh runs in 6th. Plenty of drivers down on pit lane from what I can see. Scott Kerr, but maybe even Zach Christie, who's maybe having some technical issues. Blake Reynolds getting very wild out of turn 2, saves it in through turn 3. That was some incredible car control, and you're just seeing how physical these machines are. Drapkin and Canup are starting to fight at the front once more. Contact in the air. Luke Canup's all sort of cutting wampus, but he'll save it. Uses the 4-wheel drive. 900 horses. Get him back in a straight line. But now with almost 4 tenths of separation there. That was remarkable. And somehow they're all able to hold on to it. Josh Lee's looking a little bit further behind, though, because you've got Chris Leone hot on your heels.
Of course I do, but I mean, I saw Blake Reynolds in front of me get cattywampus through the whoop section last time by, and I couldn't really tell where he was, so I just slammed on the brakes. I think I would have hit him if I didn't slam on said brakes, but I mean, he's just pulling right back away from me. Not surprising at all. I'm kind of hoping that I can catch at least... If Blake passes Trevor, I just kind of hope I can just race Trevor a little bit, but I mean, right now, I'm not really worried about Chris, to be honest. I'm more worried about trying to get by Blake, which I'm not doing a good job of.
Drapkin and Canup are side by side once again, and in towards turn 3. It's one of the tighter corners that we have. It leads into a long sweeping left-hander through the whoop section on entry as well. Drapkin still in front, but boy, is Canup in that Team Gold machine putting on the pressure. And with contact in the air, that's never something you want to do. Here's a look at the replay of the start. The Omega Sim Racing machine of Leo Moore gets tagged. And goodness gracious me, a couple of trucks are up on their lid. One then gets the assist all back onto all 4 wheels. But Scott Kerr in pit lane, Leo Moore are now joining him. And wow. Insane stuff there on the start. It still continues, not even halfway through this one. We have burned 3.5 minutes off the clock, Josh. How does that feel?
That's it? 3.5 minutes?
That's it.
Okay. You're kind of taking my mood down with that one.
Whoa! Canup shoves Drapkin wide, and here comes Keenan Kusin. Keenan Kusin takes the race lead, and with almost 6 minutes left to go, there's a big change at the front. Oh, this is incredible stuff. Canup and Drapkin are still running 2nd and 3rd, respectively. The Red Line All Machine in front of the Team Gold car. But wow, that stacked up the field, and now, Josh, you might have that chance of a top 5.
I'm really trying. I think I need one of them to wreck for me to kind of just be gifted said top 5, but I'm trying. I can feel the tires kind of starting to wear a little bit, and it's just kind of, it just feels like I'm just kind of driving like a snowplow. It just starts to kind of plow in every corner, but I can see that entire group in front of me, and I'm trying to catch him, but I can't, like, you can't push in these trucks. If you're Connor Berry, you can push, and a normal driver like me, if I try and push, I'm just going to be slower.
I think that's a very valid point as well. That's the difference, understanding how the track evolves. So here's the replay. Canup once again just shoves Drapkin wide, and fortunately disabled in this session. The right front fender on the Red Line All 50 6 pops back into existence, and now Keenan Kusin, probably the most nervous he's been in a while, leading, and with Drapkin and Knupp all over the bumper. Inside goes Drapkin out of turn 2, but it gives the favorable line into 3 to Aero HD in the 03. Continuing to have to just park the brakes. Trevor Teal not really closing though, so the speed out of Aero relatively consistent. Knupp's going to try and take advantage though of the slower car. Maybe try and get past Drapkin, then work on the leader. Necessarily going to be an option just yet. Fortunately, by the way, Josh, not sure if you're aware, there's some fighting behind you. Chris Leone's down to 8th and still trying to hold on.
Yeah, and I made a mistake and hit the jersey barrier on the outside of turn 4 and ended up kind of back with him. I mean, Leo Mora is within that battle as well. Briggs actually just got by him, but they were catching me. I don't know if they're catching me anymore. Well, I lost a ton of time to Blake Reynolds and Trevor, so they're having fun up there. And, yeah.
Well, unfortunately, Keenan Kusin has now been passed by Drapkin and Knupp with relative ease, so you're not going to be able to necessarily close up to a 5-car battle pack, but I still believe in you, even though the gap in front of Josh Lee is now up to 9.5 seconds. Zach Christie, I think, now is going to be out of this race, along with Scott Kerr and Leo Mora, who have both returned to the track, albeit after significant repairs. Christie's 41. Now looks to do the same. Under 4 minutes to go. We've done 10 laps of an estimated 18, and once again, Knupp's Team Gold machine tries to get to the inside. Keenan Kusin has a great view of what's going on in front, and Josh, I'm going to disturb you a little bit more just to talk about the improvement of Keenan Kusin, something you've done plenty of this season.
Yeah, I mean, he's just been incredibly, I think consistent's a really good word, which is a compliment for somebody who's learning how to race these trucks. Very difficult to be consistent. I've been racing these things since they first came out on iRacing, and I am anything but consistent in my lap times. Keenan is very consistent. I mean, he's always been in top 5 in pretty much every All-Star Invitational race we've had so far this season. So it's really, really great on Keenan. I just talked about being consistent, and I'm not being consistent relatively at all.
Well, for the next 3 minutes, we may leave you alone. It's going to be the Knupp and Drapkin show at the front. Knupp with the slide job. Drapkin back underneath once more. In through turn 2. The red line ore machine momentarily took the lead back, but with traffic maybe to play a factor, who's going to be the most aggressive? It's Knupp that gets the elbows out Drapkin gets the elbows out on Luke Knupp. Through the final corner, 3 wide they will go. Knupp takes the point. The lap traffic stays out of the way, and now the 56 machine trying to slide back to the inside. We've seen different lines through that opening corner throughout the entirety of this race for the two of them. Drapkin prefers a bit of a wider entry. It now gives him the opportunity for the up and under out of 2 once more, and with the slide job, he tries to give Knupp no room to run. Knupp in the Team Gold machine having none of it. With 2 minutes to go, Keenan Kusin still in the mix. As they continue to fight hard, I'm going to ask you, Josh, how's the track feeling now with about 14 laps complete?
I think the track feels okay. It's not too worn in. Like, I can run fairly anywhere I want to on the track, especially in that main groove, but the tires just don't have... grip's the wrong word, but you're more likely to wheel spin, I think is the best way. I can't really call it lack of grit, because laterally I still have it, but it's just the wheels just only want to spin a little bit more. And I don't think that's due to the track getting too worn. I just think it's the tires wearing as you drift through these corners.
Well, a lap time still holding in the mid-34s for the fastest, Knupp and Drapkin, but there is a bit of fall off that we have seen, about even half a second for the two of them. Within almost 75 now seconds to go, means with the 30-odd second lap times, there's only 3 laps left to run, and Drapkin has to try and find a way past. Luke Knupp with the double victories at Bark River really showed how much he enjoys these Pro 4s compared to the Pro 2 lights. It's been a completely different Luke Knupp, not just in terms of paint scheme after joining up with the guys at Team Gold, but the attitude that you see out on track, just the body language of the car. Zachary Drapkin's got a dog in the background. Now I'm a bit distracted, Josh.
I physically can't have any pets in the background, mainly because only pets I have in my house are cage pets, and I have a green screen behind me.
Oh, it's such a cute dog as well. He's sitting behind, scratching himself. Oh, cute Labrador golden retriever of some kind. 20 seconds to go, though. Drapkin's not distracted by what's happening in the background. Oh, he's a little frustrated with the entry into turn 4, winding up to the white flag. It's half a second, almost 4 car lengths between the two. In towards the opening corner. It's going to be a bit wider for Knupp, and we've seen him when he was being aggressive. He realizes that with the track evolution, he can run that slightly different line. The gap behind grows to Keenan Kusin, who's not yet really in the clutches of Trevor Thiel, but remember, with the full invert that we've got coming up for the second race, I've been so focused on the fight that we've seen here. Knupp and Drapkin will do this dance while dicing their way on forward. Another sterling performance in the Pro 4 machine. It's Luke Knupp on top for a third consecutive time here in the iRacing Off-Road All-Star Invitational. Zachary Drapkin in second. Keenan Kusin will grab a very impressive third position. Also ran a couple of laps in the lead. He'll take some confidence from that. And Race Spot's own Josh Lee doesn't get the top 5, but should hold on to a top 6.
I've got the invert. We'll have the invert. I can have a better chance at the top 5, I think, when I start. How many people are in this race? I don't know.
14.
So, I'm starting one position back from where I finished.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're in the danger zone as well. Here's a race results recap. It's Luke Knupp, almost a second clear at the end of Zachary Drapkin, but boy, was that some amazing racecraft and a reminder of why those two could be in the World Championship if their schedules allowed it. Keenan Kusin third. I'm a big fan of Keenan Kusin, and I hope everyone else is becoming one too. The Nitro Circus sim racing duo of Trevor Thiel and Blake Reynolds in 4th and 5th positions respectively. Bit of a gap between them, bit of a gap back to Josh Lee, but he was able to build a bit of a buffer to Adam Briggs in the 777 for Next Level Racing. Wes Graham in 8th position, while Brendan Lichtenberg, the final car on the lead lap, I think goes to show just how fast the two at the front were, just how scrappy it was further back. Chris Leone is able to get into the top 10, so Josh Lee at least was able to tick one off the checklist for today. Zach Christie, Brian Tabelski, Scott Kerr, and Leo Moore through the rest of the 14 cars. They get 4 minutes of warm-up now, the opportunity to very quickly work on the maybe lack of speed that some maybe felt they had in the first part of the session. Let's see if we can go and disturb Keenan Kusin very quickly and have a bit of a chat, because Keenan, that was another impressive performance, I must say.
Yeah, we didn't do too bad. My internet died going into qualifying, so I really had, I thought I was starting from the back, and then I ended up getting something in there, which was good enough for 4th, but we're fighting Thiel in points, and he was right at the inside. My only goal was just to see if I can pull ahead in front of him and stay ahead, which it did, and then our two best friends up front started beating the living heck out of each other, so I tried to get away with it, but as soon as I got in front, I started sweating and making mistakes. So even just keeping up with those two dudes is a big testament to how far I've come since last season, where I was just in the midfield kind of by myself. So I'm really stoked with that, and a winning class, we take those.
Yeah, I mean, that was ultra impressive as well, the way that you held off the pressure initially. You say you started making mistakes. Did you learn a little bit, though, getting that opportunity to race with them and trying to hold on to them?
Yeah, I saw their lines kind of shift around a bit and what they were doing there. They started running a little bit higher on turn 1 earlier on, so I kind of moved my line up there towards the end. I didn't really want to risk it because, Thiel was maybe 2 seconds behind, but one mistake and he's right there. So, and then when I was leading, I just didn't trust that they weren't going to send it, try to get me out of the way and continue their fight. So I kept going into the corners a little bit too deep. I should have just known that they weren't going to murder me. And do the corner the way I knew how to do it, but I was watching our times. I was still like 4 or 5 tenths a lap off of them, so it was a matter of time. I just wanted to make their life as difficult as possible.
I do want to ask you another question. I just want to point out Josh Lee has spun and is back in pit lane.
Okay, dude, why are you going to call it out?
I'm just making sure.
Listen. I'm trying to throw it into turn number 1.
You are pushing hard. You are trying to learn, and I'm hoping to see that, especially because, Keenan, we've got a full invert coming up. What does that mean starting a little bit further back now?
I think everybody in All-Stars has kind of figured it out. Race 1 is like our try hard. Let's do as best we can. And see where we end up. And race 2 is just like, all right, after lap 5, if I'm still on 4 wheels, we'll see where we are. So the goal is just to what I do is I don't get really aggressive. A lot of other drivers do, and then you end up seeing them flipped over in the fence. So I just trying to see if I can get spots from people wrecking and whatever. And then after 2 or 3 laps, I go for it. But the invert race is tons of fun too. You get to race with people that normally you might not race with, and Yeah, it's going to be chaos, especially here at basically Dirt Scuba. So we'll see what happens here.
Dirt Scuba, that's not a bad one. By the way, really enjoyed a bit of a voiceover yesterday on the eNASCAR stuff. Looking forward to hearing more of it. We'll let you get back to the stuff that you've got to focus on, though. Warm-up's still got about 70 seconds to run.
All right, thank you, boys. Thank you to everybody running the thing as well. Thank you, Chris Leone. Thank everybody for showing up. This has been a blast this season.
It's always a blast to have Keenan Kusin alongside. Still in that brief warm-up intermission for the drivers. We're seeing them adapt to the track as well as... I'm not sure we're going to get another reset, which Josh mentioned that we did have after qualifying before the first race. And it means that the drivers have a lot more wear to deal with. And of course, that shifting lines that Keenan was talking about. There's Josh's truck, the hashtag blame Josh on the side of it. And one thing that we saw a lot through turn one, Josh, from Zachary Drapkin and Luke Knupp, is how far wide they run on the exit of the corner.
Yeah, and they're 1,000% able to do that because they know exactly where the limit of their truck is and where they can run on the track. I don't, because I am a simpleton and I just don't know that. So I'm trying to slowly run a little bit harder. I'm trying to slowly just kind of go up on the wall out of one. I'll do it here, but like I can't tell if that's doing it correctly. Like it doesn't feel like it. Look what just happened. Yeah, now I'm in the catch fence.
And I think Josh, with his cam shaking, shows just how physical these trucks are. We caught that one on the live pictures. You can't blame me about that one. Warm-up is officially, though, in the books. We are ready to go for the second race here at the Wild Rose Pass Motorsports Park. We've just got 3 races left to go in this 2023 iRacing All-Star Invitational. It's time to run you down through that fully inverted starting grid, and Leo Mora has another opportunity to potentially break away at the front and grab a victory, but he's got Scott Kerr alongside, who we know is very quick, and Scott Kerr starting from second with the rest of the quick drivers at the back. An opportunity, maybe, that the Nitro Circus sim racing driver will not leave alone. It's Brian Zabelski and Zach Christie behind, with Chris Leone and then Brendan Lichtenberg, in 5th and 6th. Wes Graham, Adam Briggs, Josh Lee, and then Blake Reynolds through the rest of the top 10. Then into the fastest 4 in the first race, Trevor Teal and Keenan Kusin, while then 13th and 14th, Zachary Drapkin and Luke Knupp have it all to do. Do not forget that iRacing's 15th anniversary is coming up on August the 26th. If you've been a member in the past, but you haven't had your subscription active for a while, iRacing does have a bit of an incentive for you to resubscribe on the 15th anniversary of the service going live on the 26th of August. Those with active accounts will receive iRacing credits courtesy equal to the number of years that you've been on the service. Just a little token of appreciation and something to add to maybe some of those new content pieces that iRacing have been teasing to be coming up in the latest build. Of course, we're only a handful of weeks away from that, and I know plenty of short course drivers, Josh, will be hoping that Wheatland's not too far away.
I'm hoping that we'll get that in the next update. I'm hoping for some more short course tracks from there. I mean, we just keep getting more and more popular with the short course racing on iRacing, especially with the 2 seasons of a world championship, new track coming up. Hoping to see some new lifeblood kind of breathed into short course like we had last year. So Wheatland's a good start, and then I'm hoping we just go up from there.
As we get ready to run, just a reminder that Leo Mora has been the only celebrity driver to win a race overall in this iRacing Off-Road All-Star Invitational. He's got another opportunity to do so. We still have got to figure out the situation in the background, how we can get him some sort of Lego, some sort of die-cast where there is short course or even maybe just for Josh, Monster Jam related stuff, but we will work on that. I think the latest edition I saw in the background was a trophy of IRB Brazil. So Leo has obviously been busy in some national Brazilian competitions. On that formation lap, a relatively short formation lap given it's 0.7 miles. It's the shortest track on iRacing, Josh. It's a bit of a roller coaster, isn't it?
It is. I mean, especially since we were just going over there at slow speed. I mean, you notice a good bit of that elevation when you're in the truck at full speed. It's really only these jumps right here, right? When you're going here at pace speed, you notice the dip, kind of notice the tabletop that you start up on a little bit more. And now getting ready to start, I'm going to have to get on the back bumper of West the Mess here to get started.
They're all going to form on up. The field left in control of Leo Mora as the pace truck off and away. And the Brazilian in the Omega Sim Racing number 30 will pick up the throttle, bit of a hold there, and get Plus Racing for the second time at the Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park today. Scott Kerr going to try and use the ramp on the entry of the corner to try and set something up into turn 2, but Leo Mora wise to it. He's going to be clear into that second corner. It's behind where, of course, there is a little bit more drama. Brendan Lichtenberg makes contact with Kerr for second, but already the likes of Josh Lee in the thick of the fighting 7th position as we head down through turn 3.
I'm realizing my spotter's a little bit too quiet, and I just got hit by West the Mess in the air. Oh, Trevor, what are we doing?
Oh, Josh Lee's being carried by Trevor Teal. He's now pointing in the wrong direction, but he'll be able to spin it around with no damage turned on and keep rumbling. West the Mess now very wide as Knupp throws a slide job and bullies West the Mess out of 5th position. Knupp's already up to 5th. Drapkin is still in 8th position and has some work to do in that red line ore machine. He will try and get past at least Adam Briggs and Keenan Kusin. He should be able to do so out of 2 into 3. There's the 56, assertively now down on the inside on the preferred racing line. And next up, it will be West the Mess, but he's got to keep in mind, Luke Knupp is up to 4th now and continuing to build a bit of an advantage. Keenan Kusin takes it 3 wide up the inside of Trevor Teal, the two fighting for the celebrity class of this season. And it's currently Trevor Teal with Nitro Cross on the front bumper that is in front. Josh Lee is out there in 10th position. How's the truck feeling, Josh?
Not that great. I mean, with no damage, it's fine. Like, at least like damage-wise, but I mean, I'm getting carried by Trevor there. I don't blame him. I haven't gotten to look at the replay yet. We might have some drama after the race. We might have a virtual fight. I don't know, but we'll find out. Now I'm trying to catch Adam Briggs, and I just came up on a graveyard for Brian Zabelski. I think he made contact with Adam, and now Adam's back here with me, and we're gonna try and catch him. Might not work well, but we'll find out.
So we'll give that onboard perspective of Josh. Just a reminder that the drivers do have tear-offs available, and a benefit of being in the virtual world, an infinite number of tear-offs. We don't see when they're using them, but you better believe they are taking full liberty of that. Luke Knupp's already up to 2nd. That's the big story right now. You see the alternate lines that he runs, where he's basically tagging the wall on the inside of the final corner. Oh, Zachary Drapkin almost sends a slide job from outer space up the inside of Brendan Lichtenberg. Somehow there was no contact there. But up at the front, it's Knupp on the outside of Leo Mora. Up through turn 1 into 2. Knupp getting a bit cattywampus over the jump, but it's just that ability to bring it back under control. Knupp up the inside and in through turn 3. Team Gold Machine is back up to the lead. Drapkin's in 3rd, continues to try and close, but it's going to be a hard job now to A, clear another truck, and then B, get to the work of closing and then passing the driver that might just be the quickest in the field. Knupp has really taken to the Pro 4s, and the way that they have been changed in the updates to this dirt, something that Josh, everyone has had to try and figure something out about.
Yeah, I'm not figuring out this track that well, and I almost just wrecked it or come over the tabletop. I think I think Chris Leone also wrecked either at the same time, or I might have been the cause of Chris Leone getting spun there. I don't know. I'm not making many friends.
You are in front of Chris, though, so in terms of the checklist, once again, you are there. Through the final corner, Drapkin once again tries to send a bit of a slide job, but Leo Mora, once again, like Brendan Lichtenberg was able to do, keeps the position, holds 2nd for the time being, and the gap now up to Knupp, up to 2 full seconds. Into 2, it's a bit of a show of the nose from Drapkin, puts the pressure onto Mora, who slides wide, which gives him a much better exit out of the corner. It is the Omega Sim Racing truck that holds the spot. Brendan Lichtenberg, Wes Graham battling behind for 4th and 5th positions. These full invert races, Josh, I know you unfortunately found out just how chaotic they can be. They are something.
They are very entertaining to watch and to commentate. I don't know about drive-in. I just made a nice mistake off of that jump going into 2, and now the lapped Scott Kerr has just now gotten by me. I wasn't going to hold Scott up, especially with how fast he is, but I mean, it's I mentioned earlier, very difficult to be consistent, especially when kind of every lap, every landing on the truck, it does something completely different than the last lap. None of the laps are the same. They're all different.
I think that is probably the thing that is the most interesting thing to always hear, right? How much the drivers are having to adapt to those changing track conditions. Here's a... Whoa. Oh! Well...
Did I hit Chris? Was that replay?
Yes, that was that replay, and no, you did not hit Chris. I think that was Zach... I can't even tell who was tangled up with Chris Leone, but then sending it in it would have been Brian Shavelski getting tangled up with Chris Leone. Scott Kerr got into that one as well. Josh, you actually took pretty good avoiding action.
I don't think I was trying to take the good avoiding action. I just made a mistake off of turn number 4, because it's very easy to make a mistake in 4 because the truck just pushes so far wide off of that long sweeping corner, like through here. Like, I'm gonna run kind of towards the middle or towards the bottom, 4th gear. It just naturally wants to push into that jump and jump you right into the catch fence. So I just made a mistake and ended up in the Jersey barrier, and I guess I took avoiding action. Go me.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out. I wouldn't complain about that one. Keenan Kusin, by the way, trying to now get past Brendan Lichtenberg. He said it was going to be difficult to work through the full invert, and sawing at the wheel, just trying to get the big lumbering truck to respond through the slick dirt. You can see just how sometimes physical you have to be to just make the most out of the machine. Almost 3.5, by the way, at the front to Luke Knupp, who is about to take, I went back into the history books because I was pretty sure I was making mistakes earlier, is about to take his 6th consecutive victory in these Pro 4 trucks. If you include the win that he had in Heat 1 back at Brandon Short, all but one race have been won by Knupp in this 900 horsepower machine, Josh.
I'll be honest, I don't know. I didn't hear what you just said. I was too busy just trying to get on the racetrack.
Josh is
I've been doing a good job listening this entire day, and I lost that one. I don't know what you said.
I mean, let's be honest, I don't blame you for tuning me out and focusing on the more fun thing to do. You will get a top 10 out of this, it would seem, so I think you can be relatively happy with your speed today, especially given the relative, I'm sure, lack of practice, given your busy travel schedule. You can see the green screen. Josh has traveled to the virtual Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park in Arizona, heads up over the jump and down into turn number 3. Do you want to walk us through a lap, Josh?
I'll do my best. I've got Luke Knupp about 5 seconds behind me, but I can walk you through a little bit of a lap. Not going to be as quick as our faster guys here at All-Stars or the World Champions later on, but I can do my best. So over the tabletop, going into 1, you just don't need to go all the way to the inside there. You can let it kind of go on the outside line. Try not to get it to fade up too far into that catch fence. You can use that berm as much as you want. Turn 2, get down into 2nd gear, just kind of try and fling the truck in. You don't really need to hit the brakes. It's not like a hairpin at any other kind of road track you've ever been to. Same thing with this one, jump to kind of help it turn. You got whip sections here, very difficult to get right because you're going over them at such a low speed that every berm just kind of gets the truck upset. Out of 4, don't jump into the stands. I know it's tempting because the truck just pushes right up to the edge of that jump and wants to send you into the catch fence. But if you do that, I ran a 35.9, which I will blame on the track conditions and the tire conditions I've got right now. But that's kind of, if you do that faster than I did, you got a lap of Wild Horse Pass.
I think you can also blame the fact that you had to talk us through the lap. So we'll give you that one as well. Josh, very kindly allowing us to disturb him plenty. Here's the look, though, up towards the top 5, where Keenan Kusin has latched onto Trevor Thiel, and with the Celebrity Championship on the line, Wes Graham in 4th represents potential championship points for them. It's going to be Chris Leone staying out of the way as the lap traffic, as they wind out of turn 3. Just one final corner to go before they hit the line. In terms of how many laps they've got to actually battle, my expectation is 3 laps to go, given the margin that Knupp has towards the front. On board look at Keenan Kusin. It's got John Cena pointing towards us on the camera, but we can very much see Keenan Kusin's focus. Trevor Thiel going to look a little inside. I think that's more defensive than offensive. He's going to try and get to the inside quarter panel of that number 88, but it gives the opportunity if Keenan can get that better run off the corner to try a bit of a slide job. They're 3 wide and funneling on the exit. It's going to be Wes the Mess that still has the position, but Caddy Wampus once again behind him. Kusin with the shove to the 72 machine. It's still Thiel that holds on, but all the while with the pressure starting to build up. 2 more laps for them to run, and now as Thiel tries a slide job on Wes Graham, it's going to be the momentum given back to the 88. Graham holds on to 4th. Thiel once again up the inside at turn 2, but with contact, it doesn't work out, and somewhat looking a bit frustrated is Trevor Thiel wearing the Nitro Circus Sim Racing shirt. runs himself towards the line. Thought what will be their final lap, their final opportunity to work on forward. And Trevor Teal, I don't think too worried about Keenan Kusin for the time being. He's just focusing on in front and making sure he'll work to get to that 4th position. It's the slide job once again. It's not going to work out, and Keenan Kusin's got the run. It's up into turn 2, where Kusin looks around the outside. It's Knupp that's going to grab yet another victory in the iRacing All-Star Invitational, but down out of the corner, here comes Kusin in towards 3, the biggest slide job that you can imagine, but it's not going to give him the move. It's going to give Teal the opportunity to cut back underneath. Kusin will give it a run out of 4, but as Western S watches behind, he holds on to 4th spot, and in reverse order into how they finished in race number 1, Trevor Teal holds off the challenge from Keenan Kusin and takes a big deep breath after that battle to the line. Josh Lee's grabbing a brief sip of water. How are you feeling, Josh, after that?
Tired, sweaty. I mean, I tried to make it not easy for Luke to lap me there, but he just drove right by me. I did find out on that last lap all my problem areas, and it was every corner.
Oh, wow. I mean, there's only 4 corners, so I guess we can give you that one as well. But hopefully Josh is back next week at our season finale at Crandon, at least maybe to cause more troubles for Luke Knupp, because it is a remarkable 6th win in a row, 7 out of 8 for Knupp in these Pro 4s. He's found another gear and now links up with those Team Gold drivers who get ready now to try and do the same in the World Championship. Drapkin 2nd, Leo Mora 3rd, who'll be very happy to have taken that inverted pole position and gotten the celebrity class win. Wes Graham 4th, Trevor Teal 5th, and then Keenan Kusin through the top 6. Brendan Lichtenberg 7th in front of Adam Briggs, the final driver scored on the lead lap. Josh Lee, Chris Leone 9th and 10th positions. Josh Lee once again can check off that he was able to finish in front of Chris. Scott Kerr, Brian Sabelski, Zach Christie, Blake Reynolds. That's the rest of the 14 trucks. And as we get ready to talk to some of these drivers, we had the inkling that we talked to Luke Knupp after race 1, and so we now talk to him. 6 consecutive victories in these Pro 4s. Luke, I mean, you're just putting on some masterclasses for us now, aren't you?
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been a wild season so far, but the Pro Lights I sucked, to say the least, and then I wanted to turn it around, you know. But I give it all to Team Gold. They've been helping a ton, and you know, I've been practicing a lot with them each week in and week out, and it's paying off.
Well, we saw some incredible racecraft in that first race, and after that brief contact, you gave up some time, you let Zach come back on through, and then you continued the fight. I've got to ask, what's it like trusting the other driver that much and knowing that you can race that closely?
You know, it takes a lot. Me and Zach have raced a lot together, so that's helped. And then you know, it's just so hard to pass here. That's the biggest thing. And so I definitely didn't think a sweep was possible. Not even a win. I didn't feel comfortable all week on this fixed set. So, but I knew I had to make a move somehow, and that I was practicing that berm for passing in turn 1, and I just didn't commit hard enough. And you have to fully commit for it. And I apologized to Zach, I said after the race, and I definitely didn't want to just drive away from that. So let him on through, and then made it stick the second time.
I mean, it was lovely to see, and it goes to show just how quick you guys, how much you guys really respect each other. I mean, 7 out of 8 wins. Luke, this Pro 4 has very much suited you. Can't wait to see how you close things out at Crandon in a week's time.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to thank Team Gold, Esports, Rigid Industries, Impact, Express Esports for the Red Pro side, Johnny, Cody, and then Trenton, Joel, Justin K, and then Leighton for all their hard work each week. It's been a lot of fun, and you know, I think we got a healthy points gap, but it's just been a lot of fun racing with you guys. So I'm really happy I could beat Josh there, though.
Luke, congratulations on another victory, and can't wait to see you at Crandon. We'll head on, though, to talk with Zachary Drapkin, 2 consecutive second-place finishes. And Zach, some incredible racing in that first race. I've got to ask, what was going through your mind as you guys were just battling lap after lap after lap?
Oh, it really was a battle. It was a lot of fun the whole time, and to be honest, I knew we just had to be smart and to get through it. And to be honest, after every lap, I saw him throw that slider. I knew I couldn't protect it that well, but I just kept on trying my best, and it bit us once, and luckily he gave us a spot back.
Oh, we seem to have lost Zach's audio for a second there.
Hello.
Oh, hello, we got you back. I've got to ask as well, Zach. I'm sure you were talking about the respect there. Your dog made an appearance in the background there. What's the name? Tell us a bit more.
Okay, I got 3 of them. The one you guys saw was Oakley. I've got Oakley, Tucker, and Max. So they're always hanging out in the background. So they're my biggest cheerleaders, even though they're kind of away right now.
Well, it was really fun to see them pop up. The chat went off as well, so they've got your dogs have some new fans, and we're looking forward to seeing you in a week's time, Zach, in that 56 Redline All Machine to close out the iRacing All-Star Invitational.
Thanks, guys. I'm stoked to be back. Can't wait for next week.
Hashtag Team Oakley has already been thrown into our chat. We'll have a bit of a chat as well with Wes the Mess, who's standing by with Joshua Lee.
Wes, I will start this by formally apologizing for dooring you going through the whoop section. It hurt me more than it hurt you, but I feel like I needed to say it.
On which one?
It's the second race, first lap. The fact that you don't even remember it probably means I don't even need to apologize for it, but you know.
No, hey, you're good, man. We're all out here having fun, ain't we?
I mean, I tried getting, I kind of pulled a Barry / Keaton Swain last week and just kind of got sent off of somebody's door. But I mean, these all-star invitational races, now that I've competed in one, they're physical. They are intense to race in. You were in the pack a little bit more than me. What were you seeing, especially with these Pro 4s at Wild Horse Pass, which is kind of the Bristol Motor Speedway of off-road racing on the iRacing service?
Well, like I said, the other week when I got the win at Wild West for celebrity class, I was like, you know, this is the one I definitely did not have circled on my calendar. So just being back in the pack, it's just, it is what it is. You got to try to set yourself up with these Pro 4s a little bit, well, a lot differently than you do the Pro 2 lights, which I still don't understand those things, but you know, with the massive amount of power that everybody has, and you know, the 4-wheel drive, these things are a lot easier to kind of, you know, save, control, maintain. I had my work cut out for me. I was trying to get up there to Leo. I think I got within about a second of him, and then I started getting pressure from behind from Teal and Keenan, and that was pretty much all she wrote for me. I was just in survival mode at that point, just blocking as best as I could.
Well, Wes, it was good racing with you here in the All-Star Invitational. 1 round remaining at Crandon. Will we see you next week? I'm not going to be on the track. I'll be back in the booth, rightfully where I belong. But we'll see you take the Pro 4s for one last spin.
Yes, sir.
Well, I look forward to seeing you race again next week. And Arjuna, that's Wes Graham, Wes the Mess 88. 4th place in that second race. You could say much better than I could say for my result in that second race.
Well, I think we're going to see if we can start some virtual beef here by bringing Trevor Teal in and letting him loose with Joshua Lee.
Trevor, what happened on that first lap, bro? I get turned around off the door of Wes Graham, and then all of a sudden I just see a Trevor Teal and just boom, I'm up and over.
Dude, I saw this big hashtag blame Josh, and I was like, we gotta hit it. And I just didn't lift.
There was a big yellow Pro 4 target for you?
Yeah, it was awesome. Thanks for being out there and letting me do that. It was great.
I mean, with no damage, I mean, I can't blame you for doing that, but I mean, I ended up backwards. My engine, I stalled the truck. I had to get it turned around, but I mean, I got to race with you for a couple of corners, and these All-Star Invitational races have been fun. I had fun tonight, and just going into the final round next week, how much fun have you had in these All-Star Invitationals? And now you've got a points race on your hands as well with Keenan.
Yeah, this point race is pretty crazy. It's been getting smaller and smaller each week. I think we're down to 2 points now going into the last race. So gonna need a little bit of luck, but we're gonna send it. So yeah, but having so much fun. Like, can't thank Chris Leone enough for, you know, putting this on and having us all out here. We're obviously not fast enough to be out there with the pros, but we sure put on a show.
I think we put on a show indeed. I tried to be a part of the show and ended up in the back of the field and getting lapped in that second race. But we'll get on the racetrack another time, Trevor. I want a rematch. Not going to be next week, but maybe sometime in the future. Congratulations on your finishes tonight, and we'll see you at Crandon for one final round.
Right on. Thank you. Just want to thank Nitro Circus, Next Level Racing, ZK Designs, all the guys on the team. They've been shredding this season, and you guys for putting on the broadcast. It's been a great season.
Well, Arjuna, that's Trevor Teal. You're not going to get as much virtual beef, but I think we might get a pickle suit next week from Trevor Teal, which is honestly better than the beef.
Right. Well, hopefully, I know it's going to be maybe a bit warm for him to slip into Pickle Rick, but Pickle Teal, sorry, to give it its proper title, but we'll see if we can do that. Almost ready to go, though, for the penultimate round of the 2023 iRacing Off-Road Championship. Don't go anywhere. Live on RaceSpot TV and the iRacing Esports Network, the trucks hit the virtual track in Chandler, Arizona.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
There are just 52 laps to run in the 2023 iRacing Off-Road Championship Series, and today at the shortest track on iRacing, we'll tick through 32 laps of action to step one step closer to crowning our second champion. Welcome back to RaceSpot TV and to the iRacing Esports Network. My name is Arjuna Kankipati. I'm so delighted to have you all alongside. Last week, potentially a championship-defining moment. Keaton Swain finishing outside of the top 10 for the very first time in his series history meant that he is now almost 50 points back from Connor Barry. Our champ from 2022 has maybe got one hand on the trophy, but in short course, there is nothing to be guaranteed. Alongside myself, Joshua Lee is back alongside, and Josh, after last week's action, I think we know that realistically it is Connor Barry's to lose, but in short course with 2 points of position, there's all still to play for.
Points in qualifying, 2 points per position on the racetrack. A lot can happen, but we haven't seen Connor Barry put a foot wrong in a very, very long time. You got to go back to last year and last season, about partway through that season, to find the last time that Connor Barry was putting a foot wrong. He's done nothing but correct things ever since then. Right now, Jarrett Liebert, Keaton Swain, Joel Blewett, everybody behind is going to need Connor Barry to have an off night, one of rarity for the champion.
Yeah, Connor Barry is also pretty consistent in qualifying. Hasn't necessarily been that way in 2023. Maybe struggling a bit more to get up towards the front. But it's here at this track that last year he grabbed both the pole positions. Jarrett Liebert was the one that did that in the first trip here to Wild Horse Pass. Because, of course, in the 8 championship rounds, we run 4 different tracks, and therefore each track gets visited twice. We slightly mix up the order after our all-star non-points round, which saw us jump into the Pro 2s and head to Crandon Short. But we have those 2 final weeks to go, and of course, if a championship is to be crowned at Crandon, Josh, we're going to have to be talking about that Land Rush Star.
That is going to be a big talking point, especially if we have a little bit of a closer points battle going into Crandon. But that talking point tonight, Arjuna, you mentioned it with Connor Barry being the driver right now in the catbird seat for a championship. And I can't think of any better place to have a race right before we go crown a champion than Wild Horse Pass. Crandon might be the big house. Crandon might be where we officially crown that champion, but Wild Horse Pass is the bull ring. I compared it to Bristol Motor Speedway on the asphalt side. This track is fast and difficult to play with.
And you've already seen it out in action, Josh. Talk us through what you think the Championship Series drivers are going to be able to do over their 16-lap races.
Well, I mentioned earlier how each corner is completely different, and that really comes into play with these World Championship drivers. You have to ace every single corner in a different way. Turn number 1 over to the left, kind of sweeping, but you just got to point that truck as much as you can and let it bleed off of the exit. Turn 2, hairpin off of a jump. Turn 3, same thing, over to the other side. Whoop section after turn 3, then into long sweeping turn 4, where the truck just wants to push right up into the catch fence and into the grandstands. You have to keep the truck wrangling field all around this racetrack for about 33 seconds per lap, and then you can think about passing trucks and winning the race.
And so with a look at the track, let's talk about how we accumulate points. What the drivers will need to do if they want to dethrone Connor Barry. 5 points in qualifying for pole. It means being fast in the pressure situations is rewarded in the championship. It's also rewarded in race 1 with the best opportunity to grab 50 points. We do invert the top 8 for the second race of the day, and that means that the winner of race 1 down in 8th position does have some work to do. 14 points to be gained if they can climb their way forward. Again, 2 points a position. Focus on that. They're all fighting for their share of $25,000. Our champion walks away with $10,000, which for many of them would see them take the money and invest it into the real world. Connor Barry is going to bring his number 2 in the real world. He runs the number 1 in the sim over to Cradnon in just a couple of weeks' time. Let's talk points though, and let's talk how it stands after 6 weeks, because Josh Lee, Connor Barry, 555s on the board. Jarrett Liebert now in second. Joel Blewett, Keaton Swain tied on 502 points. It's a big swing, and mathematically, only the top 8 can still win the championship.
Mathematically, yes, but when we're talking about on the racetrack, I think it's very difficult to think of a different scenario or to bet on a different scenario than Connor Barry winning this championship. Yes, we've got Jarrett Liebert within striking distance, but Barry's going to need to do something wrong. Right now, he's not doing that. Liebert needs to be focused on maximizing as many points as he can get tonight to at least try and get that gap a little bit closer, Arjuna. It's not over. We cannot stress that enough. It's not over. There's just a lot of different scenarios, and a lot of them come out with that number 1 on top.
And well, qualifying underway for the drivers already, and there's a bit of a shock at the front. Trenton Briley currently sits on provisional pole position. It is a really quick lap time that he has been able to put down, but 17 thousandths back. Connor Barry and Joel Blewett are tied on a 33.252 effectively.
Briley at the front just makes me happy. I love seeing Trenton Briley be successful in this series, and that number 22 up front is, I think, its rightful spot. But you've got Barry in second, you've got Blewett in third, Liebert in fourth, Keaton Swain in fifth. Those championship contenders, yes, it's Trenton Briley at the front, but amongst themselves, they are all right next to each other and within about a half-tenth of each other as well.
There have only been 7 drivers now to have gotten a pole position in the iRacing Off-Road Championship. Trenton Briley joins a very exclusive clubs. There have been more race winners than pole position sitters. Trenton Briley will lead us to the green in the Team Gold esports car. After the success of Luke Canup, Trenton Briley picks up right in those wheel tracks. Connor Barry in almost the best position possible to take one step closer to a championship, while Joe Blewett and Jarrett Liebert, the 2 rookies behind, will look to put the pressure on. Keaton Swain, Arizona's own, is inside of Parker Retzlaff, who bring the Team Rogue number 26 back onto the track and up into the top 6, while Jacob Rafoss and Killian Dalomo once again line up next to each other, but back in 7th and 8th positions. It's Josh Edmondson, Alex Bergeron that make up the rest of the top 10. Bergeron's got 2 victories here. What can he do to maybe get into the inverted top 8? While Christopher Plumley and then Justin Kay round out the top 12 starting spots. Quintin Dalomo has some work to do from back in 14th. Nicholas Dachalet is alongside, while Keith Jeffrey, Cody Retzlaff, Josh Fox, and then Tyson Miller are through the top 18. Crystal King is only 2/10 off, but back in 19th. That shows just how close the field is really. While Connor Parisi, Terry Miller, Nicholas Wellhouse, Tom Grady, and Brandon Proudfoot make up the entirety of the field. All 24 drivers get ready to go for the penultimate time this season. If you've been liking this type of racing, if you want to jump into short course racing, don't forget you can head on to iRacing.com. New memberships are 40% off, and official iRacing competition sees the Pro 4 trucks here at the Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park. So Josh, some of our viewers might get to live out their dreams of being an iRacing Off-Road Championship Series driver.
And of course, everything that you need to get started on the dirt road ladder of iRacing is all included in your iRacing subscription. No better time to get started on iRacing. 15 years of racing, Arjuna. I remember my first laps a couple of years ago in iRacing, and now I'm not quite at world championship level, but at least I get to be in the commentary booth, right?
Yeah, I've been actually doing some of the iRacing 15th anniversary races, really been enjoying them. I haven't actually done many official races since I started commentating. It's been a bit of a reminder and a wake-up call to me as to, yeah, I enjoy the shouting about race cars. I enjoy driving race cars as well. We're going to get set to spool up 20,000 horsepower, though, and for the penultimate time this season, 2 back-to-back races will take us one step closer to crowning a champion. Trenton Briley's got some pressure on his shoulders right now, Josh, with the championship leaders all behind him.
I think I'd be more stressed if I qualified on the pole than if I was a little bit further back for a driver like Trenton Briley. I mean, I know he's got speed. Of course, he made it to the World Championship level. I've seen him successful before, but with 4 of our best right now in the World Championship behind him and drivers that are hungry for a World Championship as well, I'd be kind of stressed out if I'm Trenton Briley. I'm just going to try and hold the lead as best I can and try and walk away with my first win.
Trenton Briley's best finish, best qualifying performance has been 6th. He will lead us to the green for the first time in his career, but it's behind where the championship favorites are still lurking and are ready to pounce. More than 20,000 horses unleashed at the Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park, and Conor Barry instantly challenged by the rookie Joel Blewett. The Brit's going to throw the slider through turn 2, but as they ramp themselves almost off of the wall, these drivers know just how much of the track they can run. Conor Barry still got 2nd. It's that climb up into turn 2 where there is a little bit of contact, but no trucks going up and over. A clean start to the race.
Couple of drivers getting cattywampus in the back, but everybody's still on the racetrack. Proudfoot tail end of the field, but cattywampus goes Killian Delomo. That Altus Esports entry is going to fall back to P10. One driver, Justin K, is going to go flipping off and into the pit lane, but Trenton Briley, 3.5 tenths at the front. He's got Barry, Blewett, Liebert, Edmondson behind.
And given that the championship drivers are all on top of each other, they may just be focusing on one another and depriving each other of points. Can Trenton Briley run away? Killian Delomo up the inside of Jacob Vervos, trying to get physical, trying to work back up into the top 10.
And right now, as they fight their way through, one driver's going to get up on 2 wheels. Parker Retzlaff is going to go up and over. He gets back on the wheels, continues on P15. As Briley leads, this battle in the mid-pack is now strung its way out.
And it was, I think that was Josh Fox that then went a little bit wide. Quintin Delomo was pirouetting on the entry into the jump. He'll get passed by Christopher Plumley. Boy, what an exciting and intense opening 2 laps. There are 16 in this opening race. Behind, I believe, Cody Retzlaff, Crystal King tangled up together on the entry into turn 2.
They were dooring each other all through that straightaway, and I was wondering how they were keeping it straight, and unfortunately it ended up with both of them getting off, and Keaton Swain, or Crystal King, ending up into the wall. Same thing with Cody Retzlaff on the inside. But that mid-pack battle that we're seeing now around that cut line, it's Bergeron versus Rafas at the moment. And further back, we've got Dash Lana Mess, and now Conor Barry goes for the race lead.
Trenton Briley feeling the pressure, and Conor Barry knows that a victory here will, not a victory rather, the move will give him the separation, a car buffer in order to be able to relax a little bit. It's not going to be easy. We know how difficult it is to pass here, but Barry, of course, has never tasted success here, has grabbed pole twice before. There's a look at the live points. If it finishes as they are, the margin at the front, of course, with qualifying points coming into play as well, Josh, up to 33.
That's a big gap as Briley goes wide. Barry to the inside, side by side for the race lead as they go over the jump. Briley's going to have the inside advantage through the right-hander. He tried to park it on the apex, but with a little bit of contact, that'll push Conor Barry back into 2nd place and pushes Joel Blewett back to 3rd as Liebert tries to go for a slider on the Englishman.
It's going to be up and over the jump, though, to end lap 5. That Briley still leads. You know how difficult it is to pass, and it's going to require bravery. Barry, all sorts of sideways and sliding through one, allows himself to momentarily grab the lead. But Briley's back and now pushes Barry wide. Joel Blewett's up to 2nd.
I don't know if that was the smartest move for Conor Barry. He's going to make contact with Blewett. He's going to get now cattywampus as right now Jared Liebert's going to go on by. That was a big slide job moment in turn number 1 from Conor Barry. I don't think that was necessarily the right move just yet, as we've got 3 wide. They're all beating and banging on each other. Edmondson on the inside. Barry continues continues on. Edmondson falls to 6. Keaton Swain gets through.
Keaton Swain's been staying out of the trouble in terms of these drivers, and now as Connor Barry, Jarrett Liebert swap around once again. I think I agree with Josh. Connor Barry maybe looking overly aggressive for the first time ever. Jarrett Liebert looks cool, calm, collected. He said on social media that all he needed to do was be the best Jarrett Liebert that he could be, get maximum points that he could, and see where the chips settled.
He's going to have to get by Connor Barry if he wants to maximize those points well. He was by Connor Barry, but last time by at the exit of turn number 1, Barry rode that berm and got around the number 25. They ride that berm again, going down and into this dip. They'll go into turn number 2. That battle for the lead is still the way of Briley. Has contact made with Liebert and Barry. Barry gets pushed up the racetrack in 2.
And this is allowing Joe Blewett to slightly build a bit of a buffer. It's not necessarily bringing him into the championship mix. Remember, 2 points of position, but it is costing Connor Barry some point. It means that he will have more weight on his shoulders heading into that land rush start. Half of this race complete. Trenton Briley still leads, but now with Joe Blewett on the rear bumper.
Blewett looking for yet another win this season, Arjuna. In his rookie season as well, he looks for race win number 2. Briley looks for race win number 1 as they go side by side again, side by side behind between Barry and Liebert, as Liebert will try and get 3rd. Now Swain's going to insert himself into the conversation. He was side by side with Liebert, not anymore as they exit the whoop section into 4.
There was a bit of contact then with Liebert and Barry out of 4, but it's all going to mean the gap in front now up to almost a full second. Oh, what a send! This time from Jarrett Liebert. He throws the slider on Connor Barry, who is given enough room, but now with contact, it's Jarrett Liebert that's going to go wide and over, but Connor Barry is still on all 4s.
Liebert gets back on all 4s, but that sent him multiple positions down the order. That could be championship over for the 25. It was a lot of door slamming. It was a lot of contact, and we know how difficult it is to keep these trucks going straight when you're dooring another driver, and unfortunately, it did not go the way of Jarrett Liebert, and now down in 14th. It's a lot of points lost as Barry's still in the top 5.
It was a similar situation for Keaton Swain alongside with Connor Barry a week ago. Barry is being challenged in the defense of his championship. No one is making his life easy. But wow, another pivotal moment, and Connor Barry able to hold on to that truck and hold on to his championship lead. Still running in 4th position. Keaton Swain has slid on through to 3rd, but the reality is, Josh, he just needs to focus on finishing in the top 5.
That's exactly what Connor Barry needs to do right now. There's that replay. There's 1 contact. There's 2. That second one is what did it. You can see Liebert just kind of get flown into that berm on the left side of the straightaway. And that was all it wrote for the 25 in that contact. I think it was another early slide job. You can't be that aggressive middle of the race. It was with 7 laps to go. I think you do that set. That's a last lap send, Arjuna. It's a last lap final turn. You go for it as much as you can. I don't think that was needed mid-race, and I think that's exactly what Jarrett Liebert's going to be thinking post-race.
Look at those live points. Liebert in the 25, now within 2 or 3 of the 27 of Joel Blewett. It is close for 2nd. It's still not close for 1st, where the margin to the champ is almost 47 points.
And right now, Joel Blewett in 3rd. He breaks that tie with Keaton Swain by gaining a couple of points. Swain's only 1 spot behind in 3rd, but with qualifying points as well. And take a look at the live points now, Arjuna. That just shifted Jarrett Liebert down into 4th with more positions lost. He's down into 21st. I think he had another incident.
Yep, he is now dropped out of the top 20, and so for Jarrett Liebert, the pain continues, and it is going to be a bit of a fight back for him. In through turn 2, Joel Blewett up the inside, but only to the quarter panel of Trenton Briley. Remember, Trenton Briley's best finish this season has been a 6th place finish. His best qualifying performance this season has also been 6th position. He's been able to crack the top 5 once in his career, and he's performing admirably under the pressure right now. But Blewett will look to the inside, and a championship contender sends a slide, but Trenton Briley doesn't care. Back to the lead of the race.
Briley is going to be desperate for this race win. He's looking for win number 1. Blewett behind is looking to try and get 2nd place in the points in his rookie season of competition. Keaton Swain watches on behind. Can he make it a 3-man fight for the race win? It's white flag this time by Arjuna with a rookie at the front of the pack.
It is the shortest track here in short course racing on iRacing. There are just 4 corners with which Trenton Briley has got to defend. It's through turn 1, where once again Blewett will throw the slide. Briley's going to cut back underneath, and on the run up to turn 2, hold the lead once again.
Riley's gonna have to do master defense. Swain to the inside. He tries to insert himself, but what this does, it pushes Blewett wide. Now Trenton Briley to the race lead into 3. What's Blewett gonna do as they head into the whip section? It's all Trenton Briley as they come through turn 4.
We've got a couple of 100 feet with which left to run. Keaton Swain tries to send Joel Blewett, who in turn sends Trenton Briley. It's a drag race to the line. Trenton Briley is deprived of an iRacing World Championship win. Joel Blewett will take what is the 3rd win of his career by 58 thousandths of a second. You can see the excitement on Blewett's face. I can only imagine the dejection that Trenton Briley must be feeling.
That is so unfortunate for a driver going for race win number 1, but I believe, Arjuna, this is also going to be best finish for Trenton Briley as well in a career, unfortunately, in the Off-Road Championship Series that hasn't had a lot of success in the top 5. Still a great run for Briley.
It's still a Team Gold 1 and 2. You could tell there were no team games at play there. They were battling to the line. 58 thousandths of a second for the 27 of Joel Blewett. It's yet another victory late at night for him in the UK. Briley will, I think, take some solace in that first ever career podium out of Huntington Beach, California. The 26-year-old will be very delighted with that. Finishes in front of Keaton Swain, who was very quiet in that race, but climbed his way up to 3rd in front of the champ Connor Barry, who for a 2nd consecutive week makes contact with a championship rival, but is fortunately able to hold on to his Nitro Circus machine. Josh Edmondson finishes behind his teammate with Alex Bergeron, able to climb up into the top 6, gives him a pretty good opportunity to add to his 2 previous race victories at this track. It's going to be behind him Killian Dallomo, Jacob Verfoss, Parker Retzlaff, and then Josh Fox, while down in 11th position Nicholas Dachelet in front of the 2 Nitro Circus sim racing teammates of Connor Parisi and then Keith Jeffrey. Nicholas Wellhouse, Cody Retzlaff, the 2 Team Road Cars, 14th and 15th, in front of Crystal King, who was able to work forward from outside the top 20 into 16th. Quintin Dallomo, 17th. Tyson in front of Terry Miller, while Jarrett Liebert able to get back into the top 20, but will be disappointed and frustrated with no doubt. Tom Grady, the final car on the lead lap in 21st. It's Justin Kay, Christopher Plumley, and Brandon Proudfoot tangled up in trouble, not classified on the lead lap. Here are the live points after the first race of the night, Josh.
That just completely put the championship on its head. I mean, right now, where we're sitting, it's still within 50 points for Joel Blewett. It's going to be a Hail Mary pass for him to do anything to swap positions tonight. Keaton Swain inching back up to try and get another 2nd place finish in the points, but that was the most unfortunate night for Jarrett Liebert. Not 1 incident, but 2. And I think it was just a lot of bad luck and not a well-timed pass that might have just taken him out of championship contention.
And don't forget, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, we're talking thousands of dollars on the line. They are very valuable points. Jarrett Liebert, all he wanted to do was be the best that he could be. I think we saw that, just unfortunate in how the contact played itself out. The driver's got a couple of minutes with which to relax. Josh and myself got a couple of minutes to calm down our heart rates, but 16 more laps get thrown on the board. We invert the top 8, ready to go for what is going to be 16 crazy laps of action. Jacob Verfoss gets ready to lead us to the green alongside Killian Dallomo. The 2 cannot separate themselves from one another. It's 3rd for Alex Bergeron, seeking his 3rd victory at this track alongside Josh Edmondson, while Connor Barry, along with Keaton Swain, the 1 and 2, so familiar with one another. Trenton Briley and Joel Blewett, photo finish for the Team Gold teammates. They'll be alongside on row 4, while Parker Retzlaff and Josh Fox just miss out on the invert top 8. Nicholas Dachelet and then Connor Parisi 11th and 12th positions, while Keith Jeffrey sees Nicholas Wellhouse on his outside for company. Cody Retzlaff, Crystal King, Quintin Dallomo, and then Tyson Miller make up the front 9 rows, while completing the top 20. Terry Miller, the oldest ever iRacing World Championship competitor, continuing to prove that age is but a number, alongside Jarrett Liebert, the rookie, who will look to charge from 20th position. It's Tom Grady in 21st, another one of our drivers who have gotten a first ever podium this season. Justin Kay in 22nd is alongside him, while Christopher Plumley and Brandon Proudfoot are through the 24 trucks that get ready to do battle once again. Don't forget, new sign-ups here on iRacing are 40% off as we get closer and closer to the 15th anniversary of the servers going live on August the 26th. There has never been a better time to join iRacing and to join us for all the fun. Josh, that first race was dramatic. What are we expecting in the second 16 laps of action?
I don't know. I wasn't expecting to have a championship that just completely changes in one race, one corner, one straightaway like we just had. But with Barry starting 5th after the invert, I think this is going to be a crucial race for Connor Barry to still just keep that consistency going. There's still a lot that can go wrong. There's a lot that can go right for Connor Barry, and not a lot has gone wrong for him so far in his Off-Road Championship Series career. But there still is mistakes that can be made. There is still a lot of mistakes that could take Barry out of the championship fight. He is not out of the woods yet.
We saw on the gloves of Connor Barry the Nitro Circus logo. Always good to see that the drivers are invested in their team's success as well and go to the extra lengths of making sure that we see all their sponsors behind them as well. I wonder if with the championship drivers now 5th on back, if for Jacob Rafos, Killian Delomo, Bergeron, Edmondson, is there a chance for victory today, Josh?
I think for Josh Edmondson, he's going to look for that victory. I think a little bit less so from Rafos and Killian Delomo, even though we both know they're very aggressive. Bergeron still winless in this season of competition. We know anything on dirt, he can get it done. And you got Connor Barry back there in 5th with all the drivers who are in the championship fight back from there. This is an interesting way to line up for race number 2, and we're ready to go green.
16 more laps of action here at the Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park. The Rallycross converts. Jacob Rafos and Killian Delomo get us underway. Delomo instantly challenged on the run into the first corner. Bergeron up the inside, but he'll get loose. He'll cause a checkup. Connor Barry tries to send it now to the inside of the number 9 machine. It will mean a battle for 3rd position and chaos in the background. Up and up and over goes Keith Jeffrey, but down into turn 2. Everyone else safely through.
Keith Jeffrey with multiple flips, but now we've got one driver. That's Joel Blewett. That is going to flip once. He falls all the way down into 23rd. Another driver with issues is Terry Miller, but in the mid-pack, this has gotten aggressive, Arjuna. They did not calm down at all. We're 3 wide. Crystal King makes contact with a truck that sends him over.
Cody Ratzlaff goes up and over. 3 flippers on the opening lap. Short course racing is elbows out. It's frenetic. This is what we expect. Trenton Browley's going to move Nicholas Dachelet out of 7th position at the front. Still Rafos from Delomo and Bergeron. An insane lap number 1, and now favor returned. Nicholas Dachelet forces Trenton Browley out of the top 10.
Briley falls to 9th, and now Josh Fox goes around. One driver up and over. Tyson Miller's around.
What is going on here? These drivers have set themselves loose today. This is by far the most aggressive, the wildest we've ever seen them.
I think this track just breeds that aggression. I mentioned how every corner is different. Well, we've got a slide job central turn of turn number 1. We've got 2 hairpins, 2 tight hairpins at that. Then the wide sweeping turn number 4 that is very easy to set passes up across that front stretch and tabletop. Right now, we're seeing aggression at its finest, and we've on board with Killian Delomo, who chases down Jacob Rafos, looking for race win number 1 of 2023.
Now for Killian Delomo, we've seen so many P2s out of him. I don't think he'll want to sit in that 2nd spot once again, searching for what would be his 3rd career victory. Did not taste success here at Wild Horse Pass in 2022, but we know how strong he can be, and as always, fascinating to watch them work on the wheel and just battle their way with slightly different lines. Delomo gets to the inside of Rafos, but the outside slightly more banked. You can get more speed on the exit, and Rafos holds on at the line. It's going to be interesting as Connor Barry sits in 4th. Edmondson, a teammate, protecting him behind. How aggressive is the champ going to be from 4th spot?
I don't think Barry needs to be that aggressive, and I think he knows that. I don't think he's going to dive bomb any trucks. I don't think he's going to go for the slide jobs. He's really going to just try and make passes that he knows he can make, like that one announced. Bergeron and Josh Edmondson is the driver that will get the elbows out, will be aggressive. He forces his way into P4.
Oh, and now here comes the up and under and the 2-for-1 special. Oh, Keaton Swain caught that coming, and with beautiful execution, Keaton Swain's alongside of Bergeron and now trying to rip 4th position away. Josh Edmondson slipped down the order. Swain makes contact with Bergeron into turn 2, still almost alongside.
Trying to go for that move again, but won't be able to do so. Swain just trying to stop that bleeding that he's had the last 2 rounds and log in some decent finishes. Trying, like you mentioned earlier, Arjuna, the difference between first place, second place, third place in the points means a couple $1,000s, and Keaton Swain forces Bergeron almost into the pits.
And now focusing on trying to climb back up towards Conor Barry, where at 1 and 2 machines, the 2 that tangoed a week ago at Bark River International Raceway, might just do battle once again. Retzlaff gets in front of Briley. Blewett's now fighting with Plumley. They are fighting all over. Delomo, I think, has got to worry about Conor Barry from behind. With some gap to work with, could Conor Barry start to try and get aggressive to get up to the top 2 steps?
He's going to have to... Here's the thing. He's gonna have to be aggressive to make the moves, but I don't think he doesn't need to be aggressive, so I don't think he's going to go for him. Now, if Killian Delamo and Jacob Rafos make contact, force each other up the road, then I think we're gonna see Conor Barry make the moves for the race lead. But right now, he's just gonna look for gimme passes. He's gonna look for passes that are easy to make to not force the issue.
See a couple of comments on the iRacing Esports Network talking about Formula wheels. Now, Killian Delomo doesn't actually have a full Formula wheel. He's got what you call a hybrid of a GT and a Formula wheel. It was the early GT3 cars that removed the top part of the wheel to allow for visibility into the digital dash unit. And so Killian Delomo has no part of the top connected, but the bottom, as he works the entire wheel around, you can see that is still a full wrap around. It's always interesting to see the hardware on use. Let's not forget Josh Edmondson using the Pimax Crystal VR headset, along with a couple of other drivers. There's the send, though, from Killian Delomo.
That was a send and a half, but Rafos now to the inside. That's exactly what I mean from Conor Barry. He saw the opening, saw it was easy for him to do, so now he goes for the pass. He's not going to go super aggressive with it. He goes down to the inside. He's going to force Killian Delamo up the road, and now Delamo goes down to 3rd. Barry's knocking on the door of the race lead with Rafos in 2.
This could be a win that sees Conor Barry with one hand on the championship with 20 laps at Crandon to survive. It's the Nitro Circus Sim Racing teammates that run 1 and 2. The red windshield banner and the number plates for Barry denote the championship leader. Then Quinton Delomo, Justin Kay have been tangled up in drama. But what has been a frenetic start to the race, Josh, has not calmed down.
And with 6 laps to go, I don't think it's going to calm down, as we've got Barry knocking on the door of yet another race win. He hits the back bumper of Jacob Rafos going through turn number 1. I mentioned he wasn't going to be too aggressive. Rafos goes wide. Now he'll go for that move to try and get this race win, but that forcing a Killian Delamo up the road, I don't think that was aggressive, Arjuna. Any other series, yes. This is the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series. That's how you have to make passes. You have to force your competitors to make mistakes.
And that was a mistake from Conor Barry. He almost slid himself all the way up into the pit lane, which is on the exit, or rather the outside of turn number 4. I think I agree with you, though, that a lot of people are being introduced to short course racing for the first time and are sometimes surprised by its physical nature. Rallycross was physical, yes, but this is physical in a different way. Bigger trucks, more weight, more inertia. There's the look of the live points. Keaton Swain's back up into 2nd, but 60 points back of Conor Barry. We'll have to do the math on what that would mean for the championship, but he's not going to need much at Crandon to come out on top.
He's going to need another consistent night of Conor Barry, and that's exactly what he has done since Bark River, the first Bark River race, round number 3 last season. Keaton Swain's trying to get more points on the board. He's got Parker Retzlaff in front, not going to be able to make a move for the top 5, as here comes Edmondson to the inside to try and gain a couple more spots as well, looking for P6 on the 2.
I think the great thing about this track is that you're defending and attacking at the same time when you're in a battle pack, and so that's why you see Edmondson trying to work on Swain, but in turn, Brawley's in the rear view of the bumper and trying to make something happen as well. Great to see Parker Retzlaff return, the eNASCAR/NASCAR driver that continues to show his diversity, his adaptability. Running with us now in the top 5, Conor Barry trying to work on Jacob Rafos. Tried the slide job in through 1 again. It's put him under pressure from Killian Delomo.
That's exactly what that slide job does. It burns off that momentum. If you do it correctly, you won't burn off too much in 1.
Jarrett Liebert is back on pit lane. I'm not sure what's happened to the rookie, but in the battle for 2nd and 3rd and 4th in the championship, the 25's taken a big hit.
I'm not really sure what happened either. It didn't look like it was necessarily any mistakes. He came over that front stretch tabletop, Oh, it was a mistake, and it was a pretty large mistake. We'll see if we grab a replay of it, but with 2 to go, that's not what Lieber was looking for, and Barry continues to look at a race win, trying to get by Jacob Rafos.
That will be frustrating for Jarrett Liebert to have made a small mistake, and again, in a fight for thousands of dollars on the line. These are mistakes that ultimately you cannot afford, and it's the reason that sometimes in the Porsche Esports Super Cup we talk about second season syndrome. Oh my goodness.
It was the simplest mistake as we go on the white flag lap. He landed on the berm at the bottom of the tabletop, and it just flipped the truck right over, and it was on the roof, slid right into the catch fence, which auto puts you back into the pit lane. But as we get to the checkered flag, Arjuna, we're still side by side for third as Bergeron goes for a podium.
Bergeron slides up the inside. He gets tagged by Keaton Swain, but it's at the front where it's a Nitro Circus 1 and 2. Jacob Rafos wins his second ever race in the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series. Connor Barry's one step closer to becoming a 2-time champ, and Alex Bergeron and Kilian Delomo to the line battle their way, but it's Bergeron who grabs the final step of the podium here at the Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park.
Another podium for Alex Bergeron, but that is going to be one of his only couple of the season so far. But what a race number 1 was, and then we had race number 2 on top of it, Arjuna. It's an open points race heading into the finale, and Connor Barry is right now, he's got one full hand on that championship.
I think Connor Barry will be smiling, but we'll hopefully grab a word with him in a couple of moments' time. Nitro Circus smiling as well, 1 and 2 on the board. Jacob Rafos in front of Connor Barry, and number 10 machine able to grab its first victory of the season. Bergeron third, Kilian Delomo fourth, while Parker Retzlaff on his return climbed up 4 positions in the second race to be up inside the top 5 in the Team Rogue number 26. Keaton Swain sixth on the bounce back, 2 consecutive top 10 for him once again, while Josh Edmondson, Trenton Browley, Connor Parisi, and Crystal King through your top 10. King working from outside the top 20 in qualifying forward through the course of the day. Justin K 11th in front of Christopher Plumley, Joe Blewett, and Cody Retzlaff, while Nicholas Dachelet scored in 15th, just in front of Josh Fox in that Williams Esports machine that was spun around in the opening stages. Nicholas Wellhouse, Tyson Miller, Tom Grady, and Quinton Dallomo make up the rest of the top 20. With just one more car on the lead lap, Brandon Proudfoot in the number 11, while Keith Jeffrey, Terry Miller, and Jarrett Liebert all finish this race 1 or 2 laps down. Take a breath, take a long breath. 7 days from today, we'll crown our champion, but now we can have a quick word, potentially, with our winners in each of the races. Let's see if we can grab a quick chat with either Joe Blewett or Jacob Rafos. Of course, race 1 winner was Joe Blewett, and so as we head over to him now, he's standing by with Joshua Lee.
Well, Joel, tonight you walk away with that first race victory, and it was not an easy one. You had a battle with Trenton Briley for that entire race. How was it from behind the wheel?
Yeah, it was a crazy race. Me and Trenton had to work together to try and hold the faster guys off at the start, but once we had a bit of a gap, we were just going to race it out like it was anyone. And I tried to set up a move on the last lap in the last corner, and it worked out perfectly, really.
That last move on that final lap, you had a little bit of help from Keaton Swain behind, and you kind of got sent into that last corner. Did you need that push to get you across the line before the 22, or was that kind of just a little bit unexpected that kind of ended up helping you out?
Honestly, I didn't even notice he pushed me, and I haven't had the chance to watch it back yet. But yeah, I think it was like half a tenth at the line or something. So it was probably the deal breaker, that push from Keaton.
Not the best race for you in race number 2, but you still walk away 12th. Going into Crandon, final race of your rookie season, what are you doing to put a bookend on the championship and just kind of end your rookie season on top?
I'm just going to try and survive the Land Rush start, honestly. It's going to be hectic. The second race at Crandon earlier in the season, we got flipped over and we drove from dead last to 9th, I think. So, yeah, this time we're just going to try and survive and maybe get 2 top 5s, and that'll be third in the championship, so that would be really good.
Looking forward to seeing what you can do in the final round of the championship. But Joel, congratulations on your race number 1 win tonight, and go celebrate with everyone. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I'd just like to thank Tyler Shaddock and Leighton Kramer for some of the setup help this week. We were struggling, but today we did a complete rebuild and we turned it around, so that was great. So just a quick thanks to them.
Congratulations again. That's Joel Blewett in the number 27 for Team Gold. Arjuna, he walks away with race number 1 victory tonight, and I believe you'll be standing by with our race number 2 victor on the evening, Jacob Rafos.
Yep, Jacob Rafos joins us now, the 16-year-old from Norway. Jacob, another race victory. This one, you had to hold off the pressure from your teammate, Connor Barry.
Yeah, that was pretty hard. I was sweating all over. Connor is just so fast. It's crazy.
It's been an interesting season for you, I feel, overall. You've had some success here and there, but you've also been tangled up in a fair few incidents. As we head off to Crandon next, how are you feeling about the Land Rush start?
Land Rush start, if I'm starting P1, I'm feeling really good about it. But maybe if I can get a good start or something and we can pull it off, we can maybe go back to back and win the last round too.
Oh, we'll see how that all plays out. Jacob, congratulations on another victory for the Nitro Circus Sim Racing team. Also 1-2 in that second race, and we'll see you at the Big House to put an end on this season.
Thanks, and I'd like to give a shout out to Next Level Racing, Nitro Circus, all the guys helping, making setups, and Sim Magic and Sim Racing Eyes.
That's Jacob Rafos, race 2 winner here from the Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park. And I think we can also have a quick catch up with Alex Bergeron in the Team ABR machine, climbing his way up into the podium. Alex, you won here twice in 2022. Saw some physical battles today. What were you seeing in that second race in particular?
It was good racing, just hard battles there, and it's the best we could, just get up front, and we got tangled up a little bit and got pushed around pretty good, so we made our way back and got a podium finish. So
you grabbed the win here in the second race here as well, so I'm going to ask you, what change have we seen to the trucks? Of course, there was that slight update from the start of the season to midway through the season. What are you actually feeling behind the wheel?
Just feels good. I mean, it definitely feels better than the beginning. We have a good car, so it was definitely good for us around here. Other than that, I don't really feel anything else. Just haven't been really active on these trucks, so kind of show up and race type deal. So it's been going pretty good for us lately at this truck, so definitely happy.
Yeah, I was going to say, for someone who's effectively doing a grid and go, it's not been going too badly for you. Alex, congratulations on another podium. Looking forward to seeing you in a week's time at Crandon.
Thank you.
Always great to chat with someone who has competed across all 4 disciplines of iRacing World Championships. And we said it a couple of times, 7 days from today, the 2023 iRacing Off-Road Championship Series comes to a close as we make our way, Josh Lee, to the Big House, to the Crandon International Raceway.
No better place to crown a champion for the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series than the Big House, Crandon International Raceway. That Land Rush start is something unlike anything in any form of motorsport that you have ever seen. And they'll race down into turn number 1 and officially start that lap. And we're going back in to the full configuration of Crandon with that hairpin, Arjuna, and a lot to play for in the championship. It can still be lost, but Connor Barry is going to need to put every foot right, like he has on every single round of this championship since he began.
Let's take a look at the provisional points as well. Race Control might have plenty to look through, given the drama that we've seen today. In terms of championship gap, it is 62 points that Connor Barry will have in the back pocket heading in to the final round of the championship. That is more than a full race victory. That is more than grabbing pole position and a full race victory, Josh.
Like I mentioned, it's difficult for Keaton Swain to make anything happen. It's difficult for Joel Blewett to make anything happen. But if it is a terrible night for Connor Barry, they'll be in the conversation. It's everything to lose for Connor Barry, and Swain and Blewett, they can be as perfect as they can be, but if Barry's still Connor Barry, they will not be champions at the end of the night.
Provisionally, Jarrett Lieber is eliminated from championship hopes as well. It is down to just 3, and it's realistically, like Josh mentions, down to the 1. As we get ready to wind up here in Arizona to make the trip over to Wisconsin, to the big house. It's time to thank all those that make this possible, but also to look forward to the rest of the World Championship action coming here in the world of ice racing. Tomorrow, the final round of the GP Turn iRacing qualifying series, round 7 at the Brand Hatch Grand Prix layout. And of course, let's not forget, playoff competition started last night in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series, and World of Outlaw butt kicker late model action continues to rumble on. For our team behind the scenes, for everyone at iRacing, for Hugo Luis controlling our production with Juliana Cesar and Camilla Moraes, for my commentary partner / driving partner in Joshua Lee, my name is Arjuna Kankipati, saying goodbye for now. In 7 days' time, we'll crown our 2023 iRacing Off-Road champion.